Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Small Business Support Group. Hello, everybody. Looking wonderful this morning.
How is it that Grant gets in here last second? That was split second, that was.
You see, that's the thing. He just knows what he's doing. He's not moving lamps about, Mark, or switching things back on and off.
I'm just having maybe everything about.
So, we've got a lot to talk about. But Ben's not in yet, but we'll have a little bit of chitter chatter first. We had over 250 views yesterday again, which is excellent. I'm not sure about YouTube because I don't know. I'm sharing it out. I'm not an expert on YouTube, so we did have views. So everybody want to get their watch parties going?
Yeah. I was thinking that.
Hang on, guys. How do you do it? Because it's not coming up on mine.
Okay, hang on a minute. You've got to go to the Small Business Support page. Can you do that? That one?
I'm on there. Yeah.
Scroll down to where our lovely pictures are of us live.
Yeah. I've noticed about this actually.
You want to say? There we go.
Is it best to do it on your phone? Is it, Max? I did it yesterday.
Yeah. Well, you can do it on your phone, or it's easy. It's easier on the phone. That's what I've got. So, Maz, that's what you're looking for, Maz.
Yeah, I've got that, but why can't I see it says watch party? Why can't I see that?
What? Which bit?
There, can you see?
Watch parties are below the screen there.
Watch parties below the screen.
Yeah, you got that. Then it's just below the actual the live pictures.
Okay, let me see.
You press start, and then I'm sharing it to my personal feed, so that'll do. Here we go. That's that started. We've already got a few views in already.
Can you check if mine started or no?
What do you mean? Oh no, I can't check it. You can't check anybody else's. You only can check your own. It should look like that on your phone.
Okay, let me have a look.
Yes, groups. I can't find it.
I am so bad with Facebook.
It's okay.
We're all learning on the fly at the moment, aren't we?
Oh yeah, I think I've done it. I've done it. I think.
Okay, fantastic. So, good morning, everybody. As I said, we had plenty of views yesterday. We'll give Ben just a few more moments to come in. I'm just going to show. Oh, go on.
Don't give him any moments to come in, because as soon as he comes in, he takes over the conspiracy theories.
All right, let me just.
What's wrong with that?
We'll start with something light. Shall we? Now, a few weeks ago, when we had the old system running, it was a bit wobbly. I said that Maz looked like one of the Doctor Who assistants. I don't know if you remember that conversation we were having. And there was a certain picture of Maz that I had on my system because I was doing some social media work for her. No other reason. And then I was trying to find a picture of Jenna Coleman. And now I found it. And Maz has put them together. And I'll tell you something. These people were separated at birth. So Maz is on the left-hand side. I think left-hand side screen.
Which one, Maz? The left, yeah.
Maz is in the chair, and Jenna Coleman of Doctor Who fame, he's on the right. I just think it's so uncanny. It's weird. So we need lookalikes for this week. So if you think you look like somebody, I don't know who Mark looks like.
What's his face?
What was that? You know what we're going to fix next for Mark is his mic.
Is it crap?
Just a bit echoey.
All right.
So I've just quickly on that note, we talked about it briefly yesterday for those, because I'm guessing a lot of people that are watching this are sort of maybe they're thinking of doing something like this themselves.
Yes.
And we've spent a lot of time talking about the tech, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Perhaps it's worth just sort of giving people some best practice, because you're probably as well versed as any, Matt, in terms of the rig that you've got to be able to do this. It doesn't have to cost a fortune, does it?
Well, this is true, and Maz was just speaking to me about this before we went on air, because I had directed Mark's show yesterday, and it's quite essential to get someone to do that for you. And I'm sort of going to put myself out there. I was thinking about it overnight to actually do this for people, because what you don't want is you got to do the talking, you got to do the interviewing as Mark does on his show, but you need somebody behind the scenes to make sure the pictures are correct, the text and bringing them in and out and all that type of thing. So I'm still going to set this up using this software. I can actually do it for people. I haven't got a pricing structure yet, and I don't want to rip people off. So if anybody is interested,
£1,000 every 10 minutes sounds fine.
Yeah. In the real world, if we were on live television with thousands of viewers, yes. But I'm just going to put it out there. We can do this for you. Social Command can do this for you. So we just need to be admin on your page, basically, and the pages you want to broadcast to. And if you want to put a bit of show together, we can do it for you.
Can I just interject there? So I've had massive issues with the old technology and broadband, all the rest of it. And yes, I invited a couple of guests, Cheryl and Julie Osborne, Dr. Cheryl Whiting and Julie Osborne onto the show. And I didn't have time to think about questions, what I really wanted to ask them, because I was too worried about how the tech was going to be. But you offered to be in the background and do this. And I was kind of feeling guilty that you were in the background. But I was like, come forward a bit, that. But ultimately, it worked like a dream. It was so professional. And we got nearly 150 views. Yeah. So live views. So that was amazing.
Matt did a phenomenal job, because I had a look at that, and that was really, really good. What you did behind the scenes was really good, Matt. And you are very talented.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
Oh God!
No, that's it now. I need a better lice on me. I'm sorry. Okay, that's very good. So what we'll do, I'll just do a little thing at the end of the show today, and if anybody wants to put any comments in or ask any questions about what we do and how we do this, and if we can help you, then we can basically. Now, Mark, why have you put? It's great to see you, Jeremy, on the old. What are you doing there, man? What? Who's Jeremy, Mark?
Has it gone all pear shaped now?
You've frozen.
Okay, bear with me. Let me go and sort this out. And I'll be back to you in a second.
So anyway, I want to talk about today. I'm going to go to Maz first, but just so everybody can have a think about this, is obviously Chris Whitty last night on the Parliament's Downing Street talk. I don't know what you want to call it. Just dropped a very one line out that we could be in social distancing till the end of the year, and I think it's the weirdest thing as just randomly saying that. I know the press have been saying, "Oh, you need to be more open. You need to tell us how we're going to get out of this," and da. But he just sort of went, "Yeah. Oh, and also we're going to be in this till the end of the year," and then just carried on. And no one asked any backup questions on it. But how can you just say that? I mean, without any government backups or anything like that, because it is a major problem for social distancing. Yes, we all can do it when we're walking down the street and we're walking the road and we go on the other side on the other pavement if we're walking our dogs or there's joggers walking past. But how are you going to do that when you're socializing? If you're going to a pub or a restaurant, a theatre, a cinema, a plane, buses, taxis, it's just wrong just to throw that one sentence out and not think about the consequences of how it's going to work. So anyway, that's what we're going to be the generalization of the whole today. But Maz, you've got something you want to say? I know it was on that line you want to speak.
I was just on from that, really, that the government is under pressure to set out a detailed plan for easing the restriction. And like you've said, the chief medical officer, he said that the social distancing will be in place for at least a year. I mean, I've been out today for my daily walk, and it seems to me as if, the traffic has increased. More people are out since the lockdown was introduced. I mean, people are not dropping like flies from this virus. Yes, I agree. It is having an effect. People with serious medical conditions, you've got the elderly, the frail, but, they are at risk from any virus and they can be isolated, but people.
Oh dear.
Sorry, there she is. Sorry.
Oh, there she is.
Sorry, Maz, continue. Sorry.
It's all right. I was saying that people will be dying from existing health issues very soon and in very large numbers. I mean, the government needs to fully utilize the Nightingales that they've built and spent a fortune on to be turned into specialist coronavirus hospitals, and all of the normal hospitals need to open up and carry on as normal and let people have the operations and procedures that they've been told, that have been put on hold. As for the economy, I think if it's not restarted, 100%, I believe, of the population will be affected by the fallout instead of the 0.03% of the population who were or will be affected by, this virus. you want to be able to go back to some sort of economy when we can resume. There's absolutely no point in maintaining a lockdown when we've got flights continuing to arrive daily. I think we have about 1,500 people come in, so they're filled with people who are then able to move around the country freely with no checks whatsoever at the airports. This is only what I feel. I feel the chief medical officer is not actually giving us the real facts about this virus. Daily, they plug out a number of people who have died with the virus, but we're not told how many died because of it. At this time, I find it totally surprising that the death from cancer, heart, lung, kidney failure, all of the causes of death have all of a sudden ceased, and the only cause is put down to the virus.
No, you've raised loads of points there, Maz, which is great. But I mean, the one about the deaths is quite significant, isn't it? Because we're not sure where we are on the numbers. They're now saying when they release that, oh, this is just hospital deaths, but you've got the care home deaths as well, and the people who are dying at home. And then are these, as Grant brought this up yesterday, are all these COVID ones? Are these not something to do with something else? And also a big thing that regarding this is it's stopping people going to the hospitals. And there was a doctor on last night I was watching who was saying this is, with all this happening and stopping people going to the hospitals, the actual finding out if anybody's got cancer at the moment will overshadow the COVID deaths in about 12 months' time if people aren't being detected for cancer. So they need to get everything balanced a little bit more, I think, definitely. I mean, I know this is not our business subject, but it's something which is, we've got to, all this that we talk about here is to the end of the line is to get business going again. But until these smaller, well, not small, death isn't small, but as soon as all these different other sections are sorted out, we can't get back into business. What do you think, Grant?
No.
I'm finding it increasingly more frustrating every day at the moment that the lack of facts that we're being given, it's just really starting to. I think. Well, I know. For example, us in this group and the people that we talk in our business circles, they're facing real hardship at the moment because of the lockdown. Businesses are struggling immensely, and the knock-on effect of that is psychological. There's going to be a load more depression. There's going to be suicides. There's going to be poverty, and all of the knock-on effect for this is absolutely huge. Now, and the frustrating part about that is that the facts, that supposed facts or the details that we're being given, don't seem to justify the means. Now, I'm not saying that means that there is, there isn't, it's not as bad as it seems. The truth is, we don't really know, because as Matt said last night, dropping that bombshell about you might be social distancing till Christmas. I mean, that's an absolutely, that catastrophic idea in terms of what it will do to the economy and to businesses and people's lives, and to drop it without any backup or any facts behind it. I'm starting to get really, really frustrated now, because what we need is a plan. It's like Brexit on steroids. This is, they gave us a little clue as to what was going on with Brexit. We all were in limbo. Business suffered as a result. And now they're doing exactly the same again, giving us really sketchy information. When we look at the facts that they do give us, it doesn't stack up, as Maz just said. And yet we've got, we've got to be tempered by this, because we know that there are people dying, and there are NHS staff that are working really hard to get this, under really difficult circumstances, to get this under control. And yet we're still in this situation where we haven't got the facts to make us feel like we're doing the right thing. I certainly am unsure right now as to whether us all stopping at home is the right thing.
No, it's I I mean, you know, it depends how you look. I mean, Ben can't come on today, but he's just texting me about you know, some other bits and pieces he wants to talk about, and I know he's been saying that he doesn't want to give, and people were saying that this virus may be not as bad as it is or whatever. We're just so unsure.
We don't know, do we? That's the point.
We don't know.
We don't know.
I mean, as I've said before, there's a fair chance I could walk down the road and not get anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a high chance.
Do you know what really irritates me? The fact is, we are sending PPE equipment and masks, all of it, to other countries, and our own manufacturing companies in the UK are screaming out saying, "Look, we're here," and all you're getting is, "You're not an official supplier, so we can't come to you." But we can shove an RAF, plane across to Turkey to pick up a load of masks, and yet our hospital staff are screaming out for protection. It says this much, in my opinion. You know, the stats, what we can see, what they've been telling us, it is generally the older community that are getting this. Those are where the biggest concerns are. And I'm not saying that's not a worry, but we're not looking after the homes. We're not giving them the equipment. And one or two, and it's awful, the one or two people who are getting it, NHS staff, are getting it because they haven't got the right protection. So they're the young people that are dying. We're getting small amounts of younger people coming up on the stats that we're given who are getting this, but they've got underlying issues. So let's look at it from the pure facts. Let's give our hospitals, let's give the NHS the equipment they need to protect them. And if you're vulnerable, then you're locked away, you stay at home. But the rest of us, let's use our common sense. If we've got signs of it, stay at home. Increase the hygiene, increase what we're doing. And yes, on small gatherings, and someone put up there, what's going to do to the hospitality industry? Let us get back. We know it's not going to be normal, but let us get back to some semi kind of normality with this, because it is not sustainable for the economy, like you say, Grant, not sustainable for mental health. I wrote an article, and it took me 30 years. I was looking back at that, 30 years to come up with this, expression of dealing with my friend's suicide, because he was locked in his own head for 8 hours a day and took his own life. We're locked up in our homes, and if you're on your own right now, you're locked up with your own demons. This is going to have a massive effect on our mental health if we're not careful.
It's the subject matter is so massive, isn't it? I mean, how do you feel about about the mental state of people? And I mean, I know your public speaking is probably the opposite end to that, but do you think that this is going to cause more problems if we stay in lockdown?
Yeah, of course, it's going to affect your health mentally. It's like what Mark has said. What if you don't have families and you're alone at home? How's that going to affect the people? I think we'll have more mental health issues, and there'll be more suicide than the COVID-19 numbers. Definitely.
Yeah, it is scary. Now, as Mark just mentioned, then we had a hello. What's going on there with Mark? He's like fast forward. Then that was unusual. So we had a comment, obviously, which we've touched upon all morning now so far, is that we've got hospitality in the pubs, and I'm very close to this industry. I've been really thinking. I've had a couple of people who ring me this morning to say, DJs and that type of thing, and a manager as well, to say, how are we going to get through that? How are people can go to pubs? I don't understand how they can do this unless all this industry is just not going to happen. I mean, I know Andy on our WhatsApp group said this morning that it's, he's got a mask with a straw, which is fine and it's comical in that way, but I can't see how it's going to happen. I think the pubs have got to stay shut.
Well, let's face it, Matt. If we're an ingenious species, and if we've got the sort of the motivation and the facts behind that motivation, let's say, for example, the powers that be were much clearer in regard to exactly what's going on and exactly how to control the virus. I can only assume that they don't know, but it'd be nice for them to tell us. Yeah. So let's say, for example, they know that if we don't have strict measures until the end of the year, this virus will get out of control and hundreds of thousands of people will die, that as a result of the virus. What would we do to be creative in order to try and keep, the economy going and keep people in business? Well, we've got things like we could have bouncers on the door of every pub, make sure that all the seats were spaced out. If you go in twos or threes, you can stay together, but you'd have to keep distances. Everybody would have to wear face masks. There'd be hand sanitizers on the door. There'd be hand sanitizers at every table. Interaction with the bar staff would be, you might have to wear gloves. We could get creative to reduce the risk hugely, and at least have a way of living life. And it would become the new normal. If we had to, we could find a way. But at the moment, we've just got vagueness. And so we're not doing anything. And if we had a fact, deadlines are what we need. We need to know. We need to know the scenario. If this happens, that happens. If this happens, it will be this date. But if this stat occurs, then we're going to do this. We just need some facts. At the moment,
I think they're very vague, and that's what you're saying. It's really frustrating. There isn't a plan A or a plan B. There is no plan.
And they must have an idea. The scientists must have an idea of being able to say, right, okay, well, the range that could happen if we apply these measures are this. Apparently, they've been planning for a pandemic for 50 years. That went
not very well though. Well, it's just that, like that guy last night. I don't think it should be left up to the scientists for a start. I mean, it's all very nice and it's all well and good doing the press conferences with a scientist there to back you up. But realistically, first we need bloody Johnson back. I know he's been ill and nobody gets affected quite heavily by this, but he needs to be back in charge to control this ship. And the reason he brings in the scientists is to back up what he's saying, and not have a scientist just throw away a line.
But this is what's happening. We haven't got the Prime Minister here, and it seems to me the government is relying on one man rather than a collective of the cabinet to make these decisions. It just seems to be like I feel like Johnson's going to walk in the room, in about 2 weeks' time, a little bit healthy, hopefully, a bit more on his game, but he's going to be like, right, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I feel like that's what we're waiting for. Well, do you know what? It's about time. And I feel like with the new Labour leader, we got someone challenging the government, as to what really needs to be going on right now, because this lays at their door.
That's true. I mean, with the new Labour leader, my only concern is that when Parliament opened this week and they used Zoom on all the screens, which was quite funny. And I don't know if anybody saw yesterday's bits of the broadcast yesterday from Houses of Parliament. It was amusing that one of the MPs had left his microphone and started swearing about another MP, and he left his microphone open. But anyway, that's a side point. But the Labour leader yesterday, and I was watching it, and I thought, okay, great, nice to see somebody there to ask the questions of the government. But the first thing he started off on was, how many COBRA meetings was Johnson involved in right at the start? Well, that's not the question now. That's party politics trying to get one-upmanship on the other. Let's just get sorted out of this problem. Then we'll discuss of how it was done or who did what. But literally, we've got to really move on. We've got to move on because I mean, Mark's been banging on about this for a few days now. It's gonna every single day and every single week, and the days are falling into weeks now. We're going into the 5th week. This has been, we've been doing this. How do we get here? We just blinked and we're suddenly in 5 weeks, and it's become the norm that we're doing this, which is fine, and I think that will carry on. But business is suffering left, right, and centre. We're trying to help them, but it's not really working. There's people going to fall over, and it's they've got to give an exit strategy and not just let anybody babble on about how this epidemic is going to last another year or whatever. I mean, there was no positiveness in that press conference yesterday at all. He said that we need a vaccine, we need this, we need that. Oh, but that's not going to be till next year. Well, I nearly swore then. We need to. Some positivity needs to be done, doesn't it, Mark?
Yeah, I feel like at the moment I'm just frozen. I can't keep coming back. Yeah.
You sort of look very noble there.
Very dignified. Very dignified. Yes.
Very dignified.
Yeah.
So, not Paul Cook. I mean, we must get Paul Cook on the show because he keeps putting all the different restaurants and pubs would lose all the capacity, yes, with the 2 meter rule. So, wouldn't be able to pull in enough revenues, hence closures. And that's correct. They did mention this on 5 Live this morning that, you've got a pub that holds 100 and you only can put 40 in there.
Yeah.
That's going to, break even.
I mean, that's tough. It's a tough call, isn't it, to make?
It is.
It is a really tough call. But if we've got the, I'll come back to this thing about if we've got the evidence and the facts to say that's the only way we're going to beat it, otherwise the scenario would be exactly this, then that may be something we have to do in order to save, millions of lives. But I just don't see that. It just doesn't seem to stack up at the moment, that whole sort of argument. That, as Matt said last night on the telly, it said that the cancer wards are down 75%. I said that again. Yeah. The sepsis doctor was saying he's had nobody come in. It's empty. So a lot of the people in the NHS must actually be really quiet right now, not really busy, because the ICU is at full capacity apparently. And last I heard, they're not using these big hospitals yet. No. So surely the idea of those big hospitals is so that when we come out of lockdown, we're going to end up having another spike, and there to accommodate that capacity. I
mean, I tried desperately to get somebody on to talk today, but it is anybody from the NHS they're quite tepid about talking live on screens. But the bits of information I had was the GPs are quiet. They are very, very quiet. And that's really down to them because they've sort of stopped everybody coming into the surgeries. And a lot of, virtually all doing now telephone appointments, which is not really, if you're ringing up with a dodgy pain and you go, well, I've got this pain in your back or whatever, they can't test that on the phone. I mean, they do call you in, but it's just.
That's going to be the way forward, though.
Because, it may be so, but you still need someone to put hands on you and check you.
But what I mean is assessing patients. We can learn from this. Technology can help us with this.
Oh, we can.
And what they're saying is greater numbers could be working from home even when we do a staged return. Absolutely. Let's think about the impact that it has on the environment and what we've had changed within this 5 weeks. But what we're also saying is we're a little bit tired of seeing other European countries who've been hit harder than we have to making greater decisions to getting back to some sort of normality. No one believes it's going to be normal overnight, but what they do believe is we need to do something about it.
I don't think it's going to be normal again. I don't know. I don't think
we'll ever go back to the normal way. There'll be change.
How do you mean normal way? I mean, in what way? Business or hello, we've lost Maz now. That was interesting.
Well, I think there's something wrong with the broadband today, so apologies, everyone.
Mine's all right.
One thing I would say, Matt, I know that you've kind of kept yourself indoors, and you just made a comment about saying, there's a high chance of you catching it if you go outside.
No, and not a high chance. I think I could walk down the road and not catch it.
Well, I guarantee that you wouldn't, mate, because I've been out every day since this has been going on. I've been to the shops dozens of times.
Yeah.
I see people walking around really super paranoid, but I mean, you don't go near anybody. If you don't go near 2 meters of somebody, how are you going to catch it?
I've been out, I 2 miles a day, taking the dog for a walk, and I still see the freaking idiots out there who are just taking no notice of anything.
My wife, as you know, is a police officer, and they've just been told, and half of them don't actually know about this. There's a testing centre in Worcester, and
yes,
they feel if you've had it as a frontline officer, you can go and get yourself tested. And obviously, if she gets herself tested, and she's had it, well known, so I've had it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. We need to get to understanding with the testing. They said to us we'll be on 100,000 by the end of April. I don't think that's going to be happening. They feel they're still on it. I think there's about 20,000 a day at the moment.
Yeah, it's not high enough.
Well, I saw some pictures of those testing centres. They got one up the road from us in at the NEC, and they're really quiet.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's supposed to be just
Can you just rock up and do it? I mean, or do you have to be?
It's emergency staff only, isn't it? It's like police.
But you couldn't rephrase that people could go and get themselves tested if they think they've had it. You know what I mean?
But isn't it a test to see whether you've got it or not, whether you've had it?
Whether you had it. I mean, what I mean is if you've had it, then they're saying, they are saying you possibly won't be immune to get it next time. But what you are saying is you've already got some of inoculation against it because you've already had it. And I feel like most people are probably going around with it, had it at some point in a mild form.
Well, that's 80%, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's the way we can get the economy moving and people back into normality.
That's what we need, isn't it? It's definitely testing is the key.
Just a quick one, guys. I've went out on my bike this morning.
Like it
a few times, and one of the rides that I do takes me over the M42, and I did a quick Instagram post because 100% in the last 10 days, there's more traffic. There's more people going out, no question. The M42 was, there were quite a few cars and trucks on it, whereas at the beginning of the lockdown, it was weird. It was like a ghost town, even on a weekday. So 100%, there's building sites working that I'm going past. There's stuff going on. There's people now doing. You can see garden services. People are out doing work. There's more activity going on, 100%. But here's a bit of thing that I thought was a bit odd. As I go over the motorway, it's right by one of the big motorway signs. And at the beginning of the lockdown, when it was deserted, the sign was permanently displaying, "Stay at home, save lives." I haven't seen that sign on for over a week.
Wow.
So Abby said maybe the guy that manages the sign is at home and can't do it.
Well, let's just add something to it. The mix there. One of my neighbours, bless them, she's a nurse, but she was saying that her mother, who's on her own at the moment, lost her husband 18 months ago. She said that 3 weeks, I'll live with it. I'll be the law-abiding citizen. Any longer than that, I'll take my own risks to see my own daughter and my own grandchildren. And I think that's where people are going to be in 3 weeks' time.
I think they're already there, mate.
Yeah.
I think they're already there.
Paul's put another comment on. Symptoms are different for all, and most likely we could have had it and not realised. COVID has been here before, just this is a different strain. COVID is advertised on the back of a Dettol bottles, which is correct, and I've seen that. But I think, you know what it is? It's just being sensible. And if you're going to go out, stay away, 2 meter rule. I think the 2 meter rule was correct. I think social distance is correct because if you do pass somebody who's got it, then there's a chance that you could pass it that way. So just be sensible. Yes, you're right, Grant. I've seen people around here. To be honest, everybody's discontinued the building work and guardian services since the lockdown. There's been no different here at all in Dorridge. But it's just that not knowing. We need the testing. We need those apps going out. They're talking about it. I know the testing starting today, the trial runs, and I know the app started yesterday in certain areas that they're testing that as well. But as we know with all these things, and as we know from any disaster movie we ever watch, that it's going to take time to get these things out here.
Can you download the app anyway?
Say again?
Can you download the app
anyway? Not yet. You can't get it yet. They're testing it to its full extent. Because of all the problems they've had in the past, they don't want to release the app and it falls over, and because too many people download it at one time or whatever. So
I'm not being funny about it. Ask an entrepreneur, ask someone like Grant, yourself, whatever, about how many times you wait before you launch something, or do you just launch it and then fix it as you've launched it? Do you know
that'd be me. I just launch stuff and just fix it as we go along. That's me. That's the way I am. Grant likes to make sure he finds it.
But this is where they said forget his name, but he set up, not Sebastian Coe, but he was the brains behind it with the Olympics. They brought him in because he is, with the whole testing, he has come from a business background, a distribution arm, and is going to bring this back on track. I think no offense, I was a local councillor for a while, and it is an area that you really don't want to touch unless you're serious about it. So these people are professional politicians, not business people. They may make decisions for businesses and the country out of this, but sometimes you need someone maybe like Lord Sugar there going like, this is what we should be doing right now. Bill Gates he did a TED talk possibly 10 years ago about this very same thing. And one of the things
it's funny how you bring up Bill Gates, because I think Grant may have something to say about this, because isn't he the guy who's talking about the pandemic and the virus anyway? Grant, have you heard about that? About injecting everybody with the virus?
A lot of negativity about Bill Gates. There's a lot of conspiracy stuff going around about him being part of the.
Well, it is the end of the show now, so we can do the.
We do conspiracy. Let's chuck a few in there.
Now, obviously, let me get the. There we go. There we go. The news behind the news. Okay, as long as I put that slide up, it covers us for everything.
Yeah. So I think he's actually being sued at the moment because he was trying to enforce testing on some children in Africa with a vaccine.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things, isn't it, where you hear stories, but what we need is facts. And I don't, as far as I'm concerned, Bill Gates is a legend. He's built an amazing company. He's a fantastic entrepreneur. And, I've seen that he's done so much good in the world, particularly in third world, in terms of sanitation and, trying to cure diseases. If you're going to put him a target on his back, then bloody hell, you got to get your facts right, because
it's a big gun.
Well, it just strikes me as a real legend. Same way that there's loads of people having a pop at Elon Musk at the moment as well, and we're just not having that. We're not having that.
Oh no, we're not having that. But I was going to talk about this, and we ran out of time. But let me just quickly say. So, did everybody see the launch? On our WhatsApp group, I sent the link for YouTube for the launch in Cape Canaveral. Well, that launched at 6:30. It went over my house at 6:50.
No way.
It's just insane.
I thought it was a bit cloudy last night.
No, not early on. It was early on, and it launched at 6:30, and Cape Canaveral went up, and then obviously the normal YouTube video stuff that they love doing, SpaceX.
Yeah.
And then it had to get into an orbit, but it came across the Atlantic Ocean and came directly across the UK, the centre of it. And they said, if you look up, because the sun's going down, the spacecraft will be lit up, and it was. You could see that it was a massive, great big star going across. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And he released, I think, about an hour later, another 60 satellites up there. So, which is spraying COVID down. So
I tell you what, if Elon Musk was in a film, if the whole story of Elon Musk was a film, it would be unrealistic. It was so far. It would sound far-fetched.
Far-fetched, isn't it? It's just phenomenal.
Is this why I'm getting a better broadband connection?
No. The amount of people last night who were going, because when I was putting it on there, they were going, "Oh, tell me, how do I link to the Wi-Fi?" And I think it's not ready yet.
We looked it up actually. Me and my son looked it up. $85 a month they're going to want for it. Apparently,
is it? Okay, yeah. And you can go outside in the street anywhere.
I think it basically means you get Wi-Fi no matter where you are in the world.
And how annoyed are the cell people going to be, the mobile people? Because
that's what Bruno said. Yeah, he said, what's going to happen to EE?
That's right. I mean, because you can make all calls via Skype or WhatsApp, and you don't have to use the cell system. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, mate.
I'll be there with my $85. Thank you very much. I'll be there.
Buy your own phone. Is that what you're telling me? Buy your own phone and pay as you go SIM card.
That's it.
Yeah, you'll just be able to do everything.
We don't need a SIM card, Mark. You won't need a SIM card.
Yeah. You just have the app.
You just have the app or the Wi-Fi. Anyway, people, that's great. We've done 40 minutes again. That's just fantastic. So just quickly shout out for me. Look, if anybody wants any help with doing this type of thing, then drop me an email. I can talk to you about it. We can produce it and direct it for you and everything, and make it look as slick as this, except a better connection than Mark has.
But, Matt, me and Ben are going to be your first customer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Not the conspiracy one. No, I'm not. I'm not doing the conspiracy one.
Coward.
Can I just shout out for the Get Set Mondays, which is the business growth network.co.uk. Use the coupon code Get Britain Moving, and you can join us for free. We've got about 20 odd businesses coming online. Maz is our host on Monday, and this is a great chance to do some online networking. Great tips for that.
Good job he had trousers on, isn't it?
It's obviously hot out there.
Oh, it's right. There's only about 150 people watching, Joe. It's fine. Sorry, Mark. You're in your flow there. Let me just put your screen up.
That's fine. So if you want to join us for online networking, we give away a free gift pass for first-time visitors. Just use Get Britain Moving in the coupon area and join us for any one of our Get Set Mondays. There you go.
Brilliant. Mark, Grant, do you want to give a shout out of everything other than how
we've got 1 week left for our digital lifelines. So blam.online /digital-lifelines. This is where we are providing a website, an artificially intelligent website, a mobile app, and Google G Suite, free of charge for 3 months. Finishes this time next week. So any businesses out there that need some help with their online, get in touch and we can get you sorted. 3 months, no charge.
Excellent. That is. Please, everybody, take that up because it's really important. What are you going to do after next week? Even though we're still locked down, you're going to come up with another one here. What else are you going to do? I bet he's already thinking about it now. Look at his face. Anyway, gentlemen, wonderful. Thanks a lot. There's some more. Actually, there's some more comments. I bet this Paul again. Oh no, it's Paul just saying thank you. Does anybody know him?
Let's get him on.
We'll get him on. Paul, drop me an email and we'll send you a link and we'll get you on and you can, because you're quite well. You're just like us. You keep talking and you've got some good information. So Paul, drop us an email. Let me just put my email address up and we'll pull you up and put you on. That'd be excellent. Anyway, gentlemen, that's great. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Take care.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate.